We've now created a cluster IP service for the event bus and for posts. So now it's time for us to wire it all up. But what do I really mean by that step right there? Well, let's go back to our code editor. I want to open up our post project once again, and I just want to give you a quick reminder about some code that we wrote inside there. So back inside my editor, I will find the post project and the index.js file inside. I'm then going to scroll down a little bit to where we were creating a new post. Right after we created a post, we then made a request out to our event bus. And remember, to access our event bus, we had to use a URL of localhost 4005. This exact URL right here only worked correctly when we were running the event bus on our local machine and not inside of, say, Kubernetes. Kubernetes right now technically is on our local machine, but you know what I mean. So we can no longer reach out to localhost 4005 to get at our event bus. We have to replace this URL with some new URL. So what is that new URL going to be? Well, let's take a look at a diagram that's just going to give you a quick reminder on what our current setup looks like. So this is what we are doing right now. We've got our pod for posts, pod for event bus, and we've got a cluster IP service for each. So we need to figure out how we're going to reach over and make a request to this cluster IP service. And hopefully that thing will forward the request on to the event bus. So we want to make a request over to that cluster IP service. What is the URL we are going to type in? The URL that we're going to type in is going to be equal to the name of that cluster IP service. The exact name of that cluster IP service we can retrieve by going back over to our terminal and doing a kubectl get services. So the exact name is event bus SRV. So if we want to reach out to the event bus SRV service, we are going to make a request to HTTP event bus SRV. And that's it. That's how we reach out from one pod to another service. We just put in HTTP, then the exact name of the service we want to reach out to. Naturally, if we are trying to make a request to a very specific port, we will add that on as well. So our event bus service is listening for traffic on port 4005. So we would put on colon 4005 on the very end as well. The same exact thing is true if our event bus is trying to reach out to the cluster IP service that is pointing at all of our post pods. So our service that's governing all those post pods is post cluster IP SRV. So this is post cluster IP. So if you want our event bus to reach out to that service, it would make a request to post cluster IP SRV. And then the appropriate port, which in this case is 4000. And so that would be going from over here down to that service. So that's pretty much it. So the takeaway here is that anytime that we want to have some communication between pods, we're always going to create a cluster IP service for the pod we're trying to reach out to. Once we have created that cluster IP service, to make a request to it, we're going to write in a URL of HTTP and then the name of the service. So back on this diagram, when I said wire it all up, I pretty much just mean we need to go around inside of our index.js file in the post project, and anytime we try to reach out to our event bus, we need to replace localhost with the name of the service for the event bus. And the same is true of our event bus as well. If we open up our event bus index.js file, remember inside of here, we are trying to make a request to localhost 4000. So rather than putting localhost right there, we'll put the name of the service that we are trying to reach out to. Okay, let's start making these changes in the next video. After we make these changes, we'll then rebuild our images and update our deployments so that they are running this new code.